For many people, family is a constant source of strength. A warm phone call, a handwritten letter, or even a quiet afternoon spent together can bring joy that no public honor or royal title could ever match. But for Princess Leonor of Spain, the oldest daughter of King Felipe VI, and Queen Letizia, the path of family is anything but simple. Her royal lineage, proud and deep-rooted in European history, comes with tradition protocol and a heavy shadow. At the center of this quiet divide stands her grandfather, King Juan Carlos I, the former monarch of Spain who once led the country through a delicate transition from dictatorship to democracy. Though he is remembered for his role in restoring Spain's constitutional order, his later years have become marred by scandal, exile, and estrangement from his own family. And it is precisely that shadow that Leonor, now a poised and determined young woman, is learning to navigate. King Juan Carlos I, now elderly and suffering the effects of time, still carries a deep yearning to reconnect with his granddaughter. Though no longer at the helm of Spain's monarchy, he remains, at least in his heart, a grandfather first. He asks often about Leonor with eyes that betray a softness reserved only for grandchildren. He's told she is doing well, that she's training with discipline and honor in her military formation. He hears she's aboard the Elcano, the Spanish Navy training ship, and dreams perhaps, just perhaps, he could find her during a port stop. He even considered flying to the Dominican Republic where the vessel was expected, hoping to glimpse her if only from afar. But his wish, like so many before, it was denied. From within Zarzuela Palace, where royal affairs are managed with scrupulous attention to image and consequence, every effort was made to keep grandfather and granddaughter apart. It wasn't personal, they'd say. It was necessary for the good of the crown. But perhaps what weighs heaviest on King Juan Carlos is that the decision may no longer rest solely in Letizia and Felipe's hands. For as much as the royal household prefers to control the narrative, Princess Leonor is no longer a little girl. She is coming of age, and she too has chosen not to reach out, not to visit, not even when her grandfather has stayed in Madrid close by. Not even when he spent time in Geneva, a trip she could have taken easily and quietly. Not even in Abu Dhabi, where he now resides. There has been no sign of her presence, no whisper of a phone call, not even a card for his birthday. For Juan Carlos, this silence is more painful than any newspaper headline. Why doesn't she reach out? Why wouldn't a granddaughter raised with strong family values offer even the smallest gesture of affection? The answer lies in the delicate balance between duty and identity. Leonor is not just any young woman. She is the heir to the Spanish throne. Every step she takes, every word she speaks, every photo she appears in is measured, analyzed, and preserved. Her future role as queen carries with it immense responsibility, and perhaps more than that, an expectation of moral clarity. To associate with a figure whose past is clouded by legal investigations and financial scandals would risk tainting the image she has worked so carefully to maintain. She knows it. Her parents know it. Even the palace advisors know it. And so the distance is not one of geography, it is one of survival. It is one of preservation. Leonor walks a narrow road carved not just by tradition, but by the sins and choices of those who came before her. Though she may carry the same royal blood as her grandfather, she has been shaped by a very different set of values. Her mother, Queen Letizia, has long been known for her insistence on modernizing the image of the monarchy. A former journalist, Letizia has always been fiercely protective of her daughters and particularly careful about whom they spend their time with. She, too, has distanced Leonor not only from Juan Carlos, but also from Queen Sofia, the former queen consort and grandmother. While Queen Sofia remains a respected figure in Spain, known for her elegance and charitable work, her bond with Leonor has faded with the years. Rare are the moments they share together. Sofia, now elderly and gracious, still attends official events, but the warmth of a family Sunday lunch or a shared summer afternoon is missing. Leonor, raised under the watchful eye of Letizia, has learned to navigate life with independence. She chooses her own course often, apart from the traditional royal gatherings. Some say this is a tragedy that a young woman so poised for greatness should grow up without the comfort and wisdom of her elders. Others say it is inevitable that times have changed, and with them, the dynamics of royal families. No longer is loyalty measured by visits and handshakes. It is measured by silence, by restraint, by sacrifice. Leonor has chosen to protect her future at the cost of her past. She does not speak ill of her grandfather, nor does she claim to reject him. She simply does not appear. And yet, in the quiet of his exile, King Juan Carlos continues to ask. How is she, he says with the same gentle curiosity any grandfather might show. Is she doing well? They tell him yes. They assure him that she trains with courage and honor, that she holds herself with grace. And he nods, but behind that nod is a sadness no title can heal. He does not ask for forgiveness anymore. Perhaps he knows it will never come, not from the public, not from his son, not from his granddaughter. But still the ache remains. In this way, the story of Princess Leonor and her grandfather is not just about royalty. It is about family, the kind of family we all recognize regardless of crowns or castles. It is about distance that hurts, about choices made for protection that still leave bruises, about growing up in a world where love is often overshadowed by reputation. It is about a young woman who walks forward with dignity, even if it means walking alone. And it is about an old man who waits not for reconciliation, perhaps, but for a memory to return. Maybe one day, when time has softened the sharp edges of legacy, there will be room for a quiet reunion. Not for the cameras, not for the public, but for two people who once sat at the same table before scandal and silence pulled them apart. Until then, they remain connected by blood, but divided by everything else. And perhaps that is the heaviest burden of all. Some may wonder if Princess Leonor ever feels the weight of what she has sacrificed. At just 18, she carries responsibilities that most young people can scarcely imagine. While her peers experience the freedom of youth, she wears a uniform, studies military protocol, and prepares herself to one day represent a nation on the world stage. Her smiles are careful, her words measured, her choices scrutinized. In public, she stands tall. In private, we may never truly know what she feels. Perhaps there are moments when she misses the warmth of a grandparent's embrace, the kind that has no agenda, no press release, no expectations. Perhaps in some quiet corner of her mind, she remembers the stories of her grandfather in his younger years, the man who once stood for unity, who helped usher democracy into modern Spain. But memory and reality do not always walk hand in hand. The world sees what is official, what is broadcast, what is edited. The girl beneath the crown remains largely a mystery, and maybe that's by design. In the royal family, privacy is protection. Queen Letizia, often criticized for her strictness, may simply be doing what any mother would do, shielding her child from pain, from scandal, from a legacy too heavy to carry at such a tender age. Her decision to create emotional distance between her daughters and King Juan Carlos may not be about punishment, it may be about preservation. And while some view this as cold or controlling, others see a woman trying to rewrite the destiny of her family, determined to pass on a cleaner, safer inheritance to her children. As for King Felipe VI, his position is perhaps the most difficult of all. Torn between filial loyalty and the responsibilities of the crown, he walks a tightrope of diplomacy and silence. He visits his father quietly under strict protocol. He keeps his daughters removed not out of cruelty but out of caution. He knows that in politics as in family, sometimes what is left unsaid matters more than what is spoken aloud. Still, even with all of the walls that have gone up, the heart remembers. Grandparents never stop being grandparents even when oceans or headlines separate them. And young women, no matter how regal, are still daughters and granddaughters at heart. Time has a way of softening bitterness. Perhaps someday, years from now, when the press has moved on and the public no longer cares, there will be a quiet afternoon somewhere, a shaded garden, a walk by the sea where Leonor and her grandfather will speak not as symbols but as people. No photographs, no protocol, just family. Until then, their silence continues to echo louder than words ever could.